Hello guys! Welcome back to our videos. Today's video is a video I haven't been doing in a very long time and I, to be honest, don't know why. But I've just been finishing series that I've already started and I've started some new ones. Well, I also kind of started but just left it for so long that I had to just start all over again because I didn't remember anything. So the first one that I'm going to talk to you about is The Crown, and especially season 4 that has just came out, like 15 November. So it's very recent. And if you don't know anything about the royal family in the UK, then you will for sure not be as excited as some people because you get to know all the drama, all the historic events that the queen has been through, and it's very good to see it from their perspective because you know your perspective well some of those events I wasn't even born, so I don't have a perspective, but you learn it in one way in the history books. But obviously it's fiction, it's based on true events, but you don't know anything about the conversations that they have inside their house, I guess, unless you're a spy. So it is kind of fiction in that sense of the way because they are making those stories up, the conversations that they have with each other, but they are based on the rumors and based on the information that the public had. So it's very nice to just see it for the historic events because you get to see. Well, now we'll be able to see the apartheid in South Africa. We've seen Winston Churchill, which is right in the first season. You see it from the beginning of um, like her marriage. So she wasn't queen yet. So you see from that, and now we are in the 80s. You'll be able to see Margaret Thatcher. If you don't know about her, just Google it, I guess. And you get to see Princess Diana in this season, and it's just because we know it from the way we've seen it. I remember my parents, like my mom loves Princess Diana, and I'm sure that every middle aged woman in the world loves Princess Diana for some weird reason. They have like a crazy obsession with them. And I get it in a way, but now I'll be able to see it from a different perspective because you only know it as she's the princess of the people and you know she was loved, but now you'll be able to see the background because she had bulimia, she had anxiety and depression, she had all sorts of things going on in the background that not a lot of people knew about. And now you get to see that perspective. I also been watching the latest season from This Is Us because they record multiple episodes. They kind of go back and forth with This Is Us. It's about a family with 3 children. 2 of them are twins, and the other one was adopted. You get to see them growing up, and then you get to see them already as middle-aged people. So they're about in their 30s. Well, that's not middle age, but now they're kind of getting into the middle age bit. As we are getting into season 4, I think that's the season we're getting into. You get to see what happened in all of their life that led to them being the way they are, and that's really interesting. I just love them. They're just a wholesome family. Obviously they have their flaws, especially the kids. I have just sometimes just a big hatred for some of them. I don't know why. I don't know. They just sometimes piss me off. But you get to see a person becoming who they are because you get to see them from when they were born until now. So you kind of it's good in the psychology matter because you get to see like what leads to one person being the way they are from their childhood trauma and from traumatic events that happen. This last season is not been really good so far because, like I said, they were recording the scenes before the quarantine, before the COVID. So the last season, spoiler alert, just so you know. So the mom, she went into this Chinese restaurant. It's not really a big spoiler, but It'll not make sense if you haven't watched it yet. So she got lost in the she got lost and she went into a Chinese restaurant, and obviously during the lockdown you wouldn't be able to, and she was there without a mask and everything because they recorded those scenes in advance. Then they don't kind of make sense anymore. So they're trying to kind of make it make sense, but it's not really making much sense, to be honest, because they recorded that pre-COVID. So you wouldn't even be able to do any of those things, like going out, going to a restaurant, going anywhere really. And it's just kind of weird in that sense because they decided that they wanted COVID to be part of the series because it's kind of a real life series. So you get to see them in 2020, kind of just a few months before the real time. So at the beginning of the lockdown and the COVID thing in the Western kind of way, because it only started in March in Europe. I mean, it didn't start, but that's when they started to do something about it, which was kind of late. And it's just kind of weird. It's really weird because some scenes that have been pre-recorded, they don't make much sense, but I'm gonna keep on watching because the series is really, really good, and it just makes you cry, makes you laugh. It's just wholesome, really. The other one, I don't think I've mentioned it before, but also Outlander is just really good series. It's about time travel in Scotland, in UK. It's just good because you get to know some Gaelic. I mean, not much, to be honest. At the beginning, some, but then they just kind of dropped it. So you get to know some Gaelic. You get to know about Scottish history. You get to know about English history, kind of more Scottish, to be honest. And you get to see how people were back in the day, and it's just really, really good. I'm just waiting on the next season. I have no idea when it's coming out, and I have been loving all series that stars, I think that's how you say it. They have multiple historic TV series. They have the Spanish Princess. I started watching that. Not a big fan yet. It is kind of like a teen series in my perspective, so I'm not enjoying it so much because it feels like it's more about romance and whatever, and I like more of the history side of it. I also finished watching The Last Czar. I started watching and I just dropped it for some stupid reason, and I've just finished. It's a documentary series from Netflix, so they show you some footage that they have from the real stuff that happened, but they also recreate the inside, the conversations between the family in the palace, the Winter Palace, and you get to see why did the Bolshevik started, why did they kill the Russian family. That's a spoiler, I guess. I don't know. It's a history event, so if you don't know about that, that's your issue, really. So you get to see why that happened, which is really nice. If you like history, you get to know all of those things. I knew kind of what was it about. I mean, I knew he just screwed everything up, and he had multiple opportunities to do the right thing, and he just decided not to. But one thing I just learned, which it is not in the series because, well, they thought maybe it didn't have a relation. They just stick to the actual facts and not just like assuming stuff. But technically, because of Queen Victoria, she had that hemophilia gene. Women don't have it, but women pass it to men. So she had so many children and so many grandchildren, and she basically married all of her family to all of Europe. That's why she is the grandmother of Europe. She died before all of those empires and monarchies fell, but still, she is kind of the reason why some monarchies fell in some countries, because she passed the hemophilia gene to her daughter Alexandra, and she married the Czar, and they had that child when the only boy they had. so he had hemophilia, and that's why Rasputin kind of was brought into the palace, and it was kind of their downfall because they were so scared to lose his child, Alexei. I don't know how you say it. So it was kind of their downfall. Maybe, well, you can't, that's why they don't mention it in series, because you can't presume that happened because of it. But I guess it was the reason, but it was also because he was weak and he couldn't make decisions, and he was just not a good option for Russia. But you don't get to choose, that's why it's a royal family. And you also get to see that in The Crown. Like, the daughter, not the daughter, the sister of Queen Elizabeth, she loved it. She was born to be a queen. She loved everything about it. But Elizabeth, not so much, but you don't get to choose. It's the eldest daughter or son. So you get to see that, and you also get to see Charles now. He was not made to be king, but he technically will not be, I guess. He will probably die before his mother. So anyways, I think Anne is a better queen than Charles would be as a king, but that's the thing, you don't get to choose, and then you just get some weak people in power. I also watched The Haunting of Bly Manor, The Haunting of Hill House, all of them, they're kind of a horror series. I like The Haunting of Hill House better. The Haunting of Bly Manor is good. It is a love story, but it's just not as captivating for me. The Haunting of Hill House is much better. It is more of a horror series than Haunting of Bly Manor, but Haunting of Bly Manor is still scary a bit, but Haunting of Hill House is more scary. So that's all I've been watching. I hope you had some, at least some suggestions. I use, every time that I watch these videos, I always add some series into my own list. Like, I have a list of things that I want to watch, things that I'm watching, things that I've up to date, and things that I have finished. So I always add some stuff in when I'm watching these kind of videos, or when I'm seeing people talking about new shows. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!